moving a little closer to home. I'm moving home. When you see me praising the Lord, y'all, I'm just moving closer to my heavenly home. Hey, move. I'm moving home. Yeah, move. I'm moving home. Oh, moving home. Moving home. I'm moving home. Oh, I've got another building. A building got made. Yeah, another building. Yeah, not made by man's hand. Ooh, yeah, another building. Yeah, not made by man's hand. Yeah.
There is a sound I hear so clear. Lord, yes, a sound ringing in my ear. Lord, yes, it's a sound in the atmosphere. God is here. God is here. I can hear his voice so clear. Lord, ooh, yeah. Whoa. Lord, I hear you. Lord, ooh, yes, a sound, yeah, oh, yes, I do. There's a sound in the atmosphere. God is here. Ooh, hey, I can hear his voice. Yes, I hear you. I hear your voice, Lord. Yes, I hear you. I hear you so clear. I hear you so near. Oh, Lord. Hey, Lord, I hear you. Lord, I thank you for being there. Showed me the way. You showed me the way, the truth, and life. Didn't know where to turn, but you were right there. Say, Lord, I hear you. Nobody like you, Lord. I thank you for talking to me. My promise is coming to pass. Ooh, you told me that it would. You spoke the word. I was able to come alive. Whatever you say, it's coming to pass. Say, Lord, I hear you. Say, Lord, I hear you. Say, Lord, I hear you. Say, Lord.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Break trouble. Hello there. Y'all caught me trying to get this flyaway hair in place. You know, Anyway, good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Ask Elaine. As always, you are just so welcome. So welcome to come and join us every Wednesday from 3 until 4 p.m., where we assure you that you will get smarter. You'll learn more about your community, and you'll also learn how you can become more involved than you already are in your community. We want to salute all of you who have good things going on, all of the future graduates. I know they're excited, they're getting ready. Also, these scholar athletes, and I'm going to give you some more information next week on the Al Lucas scholarships. Our family will be presenting those scholarships in conjunction with the Board of Education and their annual student athletes and their awards program. So we'll be a part of that big event this year, and so who knows where you'll see the Al Lucas scholarships next year or the year after. But all we know is that we are so grateful to have had Al in our lives for 26 years. And then 20 years ago, he left us. But we try to keep his memory alive by recognizing worthy scholar athletes each year. And this is the 20th year. Since he's been gone. But we hope that through the work and through helping other student athletes, scholar athletes, that his memory will live on and people will, year after year after year, Google Al Lucas and find out that he was a really good person. So we'll have all of that information for you. We want to express condolences to the family of the late Reverend Dr. Derek Dumas. Um, and you just can't say enough about him. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce the three candidates that we have with us today. And two of them are local folks, and they can share what they knew about Reverend Derek Dumas, who is near and dear to all of us, and they can share as we talk just a little bit about him. Our special guests on with me today are Mr. Marshall Talley, who is a candidate for District 3 of the Water Board, and we're real happy to have him. We're real happy to have more people to offer for the Water Board because Lord knows, whew, I thought I was going to have to do a Bellevue fight a couple of times there. So, District 2. We also have Mr. George Thomas, and is it Junior or the I always get
it's Junior, yes.
Junior, and he is a candidate for State House District 142.
Yep,
Is that right?
That's right.
These two gentlemen are Democrats. Mr. Talley's race is a nonpartisan race, but we always like to know whether someone's a Democrat or a Republican because it shapes their service. What you basically believe in, your basic beliefs shape your actions once you're in office. So we're a big believer in letting people know. And I'm going to take a Democrat any day, unless it's kind of Lester Maddox or Strom Thurmond, some of that kind. Anyway, we're glad to have them. We also have Dr. Consaneri, who is a candidate for Secretary of State. And you see him there. And by the way, I wanted to thank those who tuned in on AM, FM, and right here on the Glory Live. Dr. Consaneri, we're going to talk for just a minute. And welcome to Ask Elaine. It's great to have you on with us.
It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, and before we get to your time, Um, we want to let the two local candidates talk just a little bit about Reverend Derek Dumas, who is a treasure in this community. He came from a long line of leadership. His father was the longtime pastor of Great Elizabeth Baptist Church on Fort Hill Street in East Macon. And the grandson, Derek Dumas, passed away just the other day. His services are Saturday at 12 at Beulah Land. Beulah Land. And so we just wanted to take a few minutes and kind of talk a little bit about him. And I've already said that, we were in awe of him, and through the last few years, even with his illness, he continued to pastor. He continued to come to community events. He was just a good guy. He was one of the good ones, and we will miss him, but his legacy lives on because he did some stuff while he was on this earth for, I believe, 53 years. And so we need not worry that he'll be forgotten. We've got a portion of a street named in his honor, or dedicated in his honor. So we just thank him and thank all of you for being on Ask Elaine. So which one of you gentlemen wants to make a few remarks about?
I can go first.
Okay, Mr. Tout.
Yeah, so I was very familiar with the family growing up. They had the goats and stuff off of, I think that's
North Side Drive, right?
Yeah, so I was very familiar with the church and the church family. I grew up at New Fellowship Baptist Church under the leadership of Reverend Terry. In my grown life, I had the opportunity to do we partner with a lot of community events with Reverend Dumas. So yeah, I know a lot of his church members. So yeah, we took it hard when he passed away. But as you said, like his life and his legacy will live on.
Yeah, you have to leave an example so that others will want to emulate what you are doing. And another person who young folks can emulate is Mr. Thomas, a Savannah State College Tiger. Yes,
Yep.
That's my alma mater. But
go Tigers.
All right, Reverend Dumas.
I didn't know Reverend Dumas personally, but I do know he is one of my frat brothers, and I know a lot of people that knew him. So definitely rest in peace for him.
Yeah, he was my brother, Greek too. Okay, we want to recognize those folks who are on with us. Maria Vinson, Wade Horton, Mr. Macon Transit Authority is here. Randy Crawford, we want to welcome you. Ricky Crawford, the other half. Thank you for tuning in. And y'all hit like and share so that others will be reminded. Before we get to you, Mr. Consigliere, I want to remind everybody, because we get to the end of the show and we have run out of time. And so I want to make sure that people have this information about the May 19th general primary and nonpartisan general elections. Whether you're a Democrat or Republican, whichever ballot you ask for, you will also be voting in the nonpartisan races. It's a long ballot, but we've tried to help out by making copies of the sample ballots that have been issued by the Board of Elections so that you can make your choices ahead of time. Take that paper with you to your voting machine and just transfer your choices to that. Don't just go up in there thinking you're going to remember all of that. Make sure you have your sample ballots. Make sure you have both the Democrat. See, I don't talk Republican. Those, they can do whatever. They can fend for themselves. Anyway, but you'll get the Democratic ballot or the Republican ballot if you're Republican, and the nonpartisan races as well. That means that the people running in those offices did not have to designate a party. So everybody gets to vote in those races. Now, Monday, April 27th, that's just a handful of days away. Early voting begins. and runs through May 15th. So you have 3 weeks to go and vote early. These are the early voting sites. Theranossery Park is on it's a recreation center on North Macon Park Drive. And so that's for that side of town. The Elaine Lucas Senior Center on Willie Smokey Glover Drive. That's the Senior Citizen Center in what used to be Central City Park. It's Carolyn Creighton Park now. That's an early voting site. And the third one is the Macon Mall. And hallelujah, after we just begged and pleaded and did everything we could, they have finally put golf carts out there to assist those folks. And I was telling them, with my illness, you can't look at me, I hope, and tell that I am suffering with leukemia. It's in remission, and I'm so grateful. But that's a long, long distance to walk from the parking lot all the way into the Board of Elections. And so I told them and used it myself as an example that, maybe you can't, maybe you don't think I'm, disabled, or I can do physically all the stuff that I've done in the past. But you can't look at a person and tell whether they have a disability or not. So you got a plan for a lot of folks who don't appear sick, but who may be. So through the help of the chair, Mr. Mike Kaplan, and the other elections board members, they were able to work and get the county administrator to provide golf carts. So those of you who have some difficulty, then you make sure that you take advantage of having those golf carts. And they're also working on a special section for seniors and others with handicaps to be able to vote closer to the parking lot, in an area closer to the parking lot. But we got to continue reminding them that there are people who you can't tell how they look. They might have a disability and need that extra help. And that's what the Board of Elections is supposed to be doing, facilitating voting. There's nothing illegal about any of this, but it's all about facilitating the election. So I hope that information is helpful. Early voting starts Monday, April 27th, and goes through May 15th. There will be 2 Saturdays that you will be able to vote as well at those 3 locations. And then there's a Sunday voting day, and we're going to take souls to the polls, or you can take your own soul to the poll and vote on Sunday. You can organize your church and take all of your church members, have them to go in a caravan, or have them to go on the bus or whatever, and go and vote on that Sunday. But you got to dedicate yourself to citizenship, because we truly are what they say. A lot of religious folks talk about the last days. We have some troubling things going on. And I'm sure these 3 candidates would agree with. Pastor Lisa has joined us. Of course, Randy Crawford. Tony Fair is with us. Thank you for tuning in. Jeanette Goff, one of our regulars, is here with us, and we're glad to have her. Maria Vincent is here. Wade, of course. Randy, Ricky. I don't think I've missed anybody. But now let's go on to one final thing before we start with our candidates. And we're going to do Mr. Consineri first. The annual Soul Jam Festival. David Lucas, my husband, has sponsored Soul Jam for the last 30 years, but it's been just under Soul Jam for the last 26 years. So Soul Jam is coming back to Henderson Stadium May the 31st. It's usually the Sunday before Memorial Day, but this year it's on May 31st. It will be at Henderson Stadium. Early bird tickets are on sale now, so you better hurry and get them. They will be $38 at the gate, or day of the show. They will be $50. And this show is the headliner is King George. Now y'all know y'all love King George like I do. So that's the headliner, and you've got, and even the Senator David Lucas is gonna be singing, y'all. He's gonna be back with the Soul Jam band. So if you want him with his bad knees up there, you want to see your senator sing. But it will be truly a day where people can just come and relax in a safe environment. Mature people are the majority of the folks that are there at that event. um you can just come and enjoy yourself. You can bring groceries, your own food, you can bring your own drinks. Just no glass bottles, y'all. You're gonna have to take them back to the back to the car. That's a
Long walk.
long walk.
Yeah.
They got the Pan
But
African Festival this weekend.
Pan Africa Festival is going on this weekend. I think Saturday it's rhythm and blues or whatever, and then on Sunday I believe there's a gospel. So y'all that sit back and say there's nothing to do in Macon, I don't know what Macon y'all are living in, but there is plenty. There's plenty to do. Sometimes you can't get around. Oh, and that reminds me, y'all. This past Saturday, I was just in red and white heaven, crimson and cream heaven. uh, uh, we meaning Delta Sigma Theta sorority members, initiated 90 new sisters, sorors and sisters, 90. And they were beautiful. They were beautiful. It was a long day of stuff. And we want to congratulate our Minerva Circle and all the members of Delta, the local chapter, Macon alumni, who worked so hard at putting that together. We just took over the Centroplex all weekend.
All down my Facebook.
Look, we aren't finished yet, but we want to congratulate all 90 of those new sorors, and we welcome them into the sisterhood and hope that they will work just as hard as you saw some deltas working on Saturday. So we want to congratulate them. So there's 90 new sisters. It was just magnificent. Now, Dr. Constanary, I know you're tired of my I said just a few remarks. Like the preachers say, a few scattering remarks. I did more than a few. But anyway, welcome. And you see, we have two of our local candidates who are running, and they're going to be talking about their positions. They're going to be talking about why people should vote for them. But we're going to take this first few minutes. Asia Warner Ellen has joined us. Hello. Julia Callahan with the Democratic Party is on with us, and Patrick Davis, our stats expert, is on with us, and he says good evening. But welcome, Dr. Consaneri. You are a candidate running statewide for Secretary of State. Would you please just reintroduce yourself? Because I know we've had you on before, but reintroduce yourself and tell people why they should vote for you for Secretary of State.
Absolutely. Well, before I begin, I want to do a few things. Number one, I am not the doctor of my family. I do know that the email came from Dr. Constanary. She actually is the one who implemented everything. I am not Dr. Constanary, but thank you for the premonition. I will definitely accept that as something for
All
the
right.
future.
All right.
But
Okay.
I also want to give my condolences to the family of Reverend Dumas. That is definitely something. When a man of the community passes, we need to make sure that we keep their legacy alive, especially
Yeah.
someone who does implement and permeate throughout the community in such a fashion for spiritual guidance. But I am Adrian Consaneri Jr. I am a candidate for Georgia Secretary of State. I am a native of Marietta, Georgia, born and raised and crafted by the red clay that makes our state what it is. And what I am doing in this position is fighting to make sure that the barriers to the ballot that keep being put on we can finally tear down. Back in 2020, while I was a student at Grambling State University, and yes, go Tigers, I studied for my bachelor's in business management. And while I was there, I had the opportunity to vote in my first ever presidential election. I sent in my absentee ballot, and they told me I had 3 days to come back to the state to prove my identity, or else they were throwing out my vote. And this took place for the primary and the general election of the same year, claiming that my signatures did not match. And unfortunately, when this happened, I was struck with two different choices: either say, woe is me, and pick the pathway of a victim and no longer participate civically in anything, or say, woe is anyone who tries to silence me. And I began working in voter advocacy, voter registration, voter education, and voter protection across the entire country, working with various different nonpartisan groups in an effort to make sure that communities had their voices heard, amplified, and valued. And right now, I am ready to do that for the state of Georgia, especially in the time span where there is a president who would much rather invoke his will than hear the voices of the constituents that have put him into power. And this is
Right.
something that we must get a hold of pronto and very soon. There should never be a point where a president feels comfortable calling the state looking for 11,780 votes. There should
Oh,
never
yeah.
be a point where a federal overreach takes place to seize the ballots of those who have made their voices heard in the democratic process of choosing leaders. And there should never be a point where any election board across the state feels as if somebody will come in and take their job in the instance and under the notion of all types of hysteria being pushed without firm facts being presented. And I am here to make sure that we get rid of all this disillusion, bring back civility, and bring back our trust in our state government that it will serve us and not any other private interests. I'm Adrian
Okay.
Consinari Jr., candidate for Georgia Secretary
Yeah.
of State.
That's wonderful. Tell us the major jobs that the Secretary of State has, and then why people should vote for you.
Absolutely. Well, the Secretary of State is actually the Georgia Secretary of State, I might add, is the broadest response of responsibilities that any Secretary of State in the country has. We've got the Georgia Elections Office when it comes to all elections, making sure they're fair, secure, and accessible, which definitely gets left out. And I want to go back and circle back to what we talked about a little earlier with the access to the voting polls. But when we also look at the corporate filings division, when all of our different small businesses as well as large corporations having to go through the Secretary of State office, all of our state professions for different licensing for professions such as nursing, therapists, chiropractors, barbers, cosmetologists, the whole nine, all of them having to get their license from the Secretary of State just to be able to do business legally and properly. And on top of this, we have the Georgia securities market for investments, also making sure there is no scamming taking place, especially of our seniors. And now, due to SB 406, which is a fantastic bill, this bill now gives HOAs puts the HOAs
Oh,
underneath the
the success.
jurisdiction of Secretary of State. Yes.
Ah,
So there's a lot of different things that this position does. And the reason why I am the one to win in November, the reason why I am the one to vote for on May 19th and then vote for on November 3rd is because I am of the generation that will have to deal with all of these decisions 40 years down the line. But I am also one of the only candidates that went to Northwest Georgia and worked hand in hand with Sean Harris in an effort to take an entire ruby red district and be able to push it all the way 25 points to the left.
it's almost purple. It's
And it's
looking purple,
almost it's
purple or
looking kind
blue.
of purple. Yeah.
Yeah.
And truth be told, with the way that we are seeing things now, especially with the guy that got the office in the special election, he has only been pushing a Trump agenda rather than the agenda that actually will help the people. And so I am a firm believer that when we get to the general election in November, Sean Harris will be the next representative for the Georgia Congressional District 14. But that work did not happen overnight. That was with day in, day out work, meeting people where they are and showcasing what it has to be. And I learned from him directly how to meet people on the other side of the aisle and get them to see civility and get them to see service. And it is with that same instance that I am the only one that will be able to pull all independents and everyone who has any inkling of a sickening of the Republican Party and the decisions that they have been making and wanting something new, something better, something fresh. In November, I will be the one to win when it comes to winning this general election for this position because I give what is known as civility and I give what is known as service. And I believe that this is what we need, especially coming from this office that is supposed to give customer service to all the people of Georgia.
Okay. All right. Do either of our local candidates, y'all have anything you want to ask Mr. Consigliere?
No questions, but I was very happy about the HOAs going through the Secretary of State now.
I did not know that. I'm
Yeah,
glad
that was
to
some good
see that
information
as
to me,
well. That's good. But you got to have the right person in there
yeah.
to push for the changes and the things that need to be made. You got to have somebody who, as the senator says, who's not scared. Because you got to be bold when you're running for office. You've got to be committed and you've got to not shy away from a fight if you need and Secretary of State is a statewide office, and so you have that great responsibility, and we're really glad that you took the time to be with us today as we go through the with early voting starting Monday. This is an opportunity to meet a lot of people who are listening in, who are have tuned in to Facebook Live, and we are just so happy that you chose to come on Ask Elaine. This is the place where people get smarter. They learn a lot. I learn a lot. Learning is a lifetime kind of thing, and nobody should ever think that they know everything. They should always be learning. Patrick, did you have any questions before we let Mr. Consigliere go? Patrick's our stats man. He usually has a question
Oh,
that's about 10 miles long.
I'm a very good friend and understanding of Mr. Davis and all of the
Yeah.
things. He's got my number. I know for a fact that if he doesn't ask the question here, he will definitely ask me again.
That is
But
absolutely right.
I did want to ask this question before you guys let me go because
Okay.
I'm all about the service. I want to ask you three: how can the secretary, and any matter of fact, anybody that is viewing, how can the Secretary of State better serve you?
Okay, a good question. How can the Secretary of State better serve you?
I know as a business person, I think the process is kind of streamlined. I don't have any complaints about that. But as far as protection, I know, well, I don't know, but I've been hearing about, a couple of states doing away. You have to bring an extra thing of ID or something now.
That's your cheese man
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
Save
that's
Act
trying
that they're trying
to,
to push.
you
It
know,
hadn't
he
passed
had
yet.
his way.
Yeah, so I'm really concerned about
The
that protection.
Save Act
Yeah, the
is
Save
what
Act,
it
yeah.
is, and it's not. I don't know who it's saving, who it's supposed to save, but anyway, that's one of the things I think that a lot of people have a concern about.
Right.
George, did you want to?
My only question is, well, how could the Secretary of State better serve us? I know in the probably in the past 2 years, there have been extra fees on doing a new business license. So say with the name reservation part, so to get it used to be you just pay the whatever it is, like $100 or something
Yeah.
like that, and then you get it back maybe the next day. But now it's a tiered system, so the standard takes like 8 days, and to get it back the next day you have to pay extra, like twice as much or something like that. So it's kind of you can see the nickel and diamond.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I was very upset when I went to go and file again this year, and they had an additional charge to what I was already supposed to pay, and I'm like,
Right.
this is
Because
not.
third party charges. Yeah.
Yeah, like what happened to the money I sent last year, and what happened
Right.
to the money that I sent the year before that, and now you guys got me okay. And then when I try to call up, now I got to wait 48 hours, which turns into 3 weeks. So now it's is it even an accessible office anymore to meet me where I am?
Yeah.
And so and I do want to also say this as well when it comes to that photo ID. I am very pleased to announce that the Save Act failed in the Senate. It
Mm,
failed. It failed. It failed. The Senate was not going for it. They couldn't get enough votes for it to pass. And they were the Republican side was definitely trying to push that it was just a photo ID law, and that was not the case.
right.
It was Jim Crow Central, and I'm really really glad that it did not pass. But that does not mean we have seen the end of their attacks and the
Right.
end of their
Right.
thwarts. We just need to continue to get in there, flip the House blue. We need to continue to make sure that John Ossoff gets back into his seat and every other office here throughout the state. I'm wishing you best of luck, sir. Every office here, both of you guys, I'm wishing you best of luck. But we got to make sure that we get people who are community minded, service minded, with democratic values that can get into these offices and serve the people the best way possible. Down ballot races matter. Please, if you are watching this, vote every single position on your ballot, vote
Right.
every single one because we need you.
Yeah, and we are trying to facilitate that and make people more comfortable with the entire ballot because it is a long one. But we have sample ballots that are available at EL High School in the Northeast Plaza Shopping Center. If you wish to come by and pick up sample ballots, and the Board of Elections finally got some so that we could distribute those as well. And so come by. We had two little ladies who came by this morning, and they were just as nice as they could be. And they were really pleased that there was a place that they could get some understanding. We have also done some research on some of the candidates, especially the statewide candidates, so that we could make a suggestion as to who's a civil rights worker, who is somebody who has a history of service, who's someone who's not. There's one candidate, and we're going to try and get him on, but he's running for one of the judgeships, statewide judgeships, and he worked with Fonnie Willis on prosecuting Donald Trump. And
Will
so, of
Wooten?
course, Will Wooten.
Yes,
Will
yes.
Wooten is running against the incumbent judge, and so we're gonna mark his name. Anybody who took that on and was a part of that.
Right.
Anyway, that's just one of the kinds of things, one of the services that we're going to be offering in conjunction with other organizations, and we also have rides to vote. Many people are familiar with my son Lenny, who provides the rides on the east side mainly, but we'll go wherever we're needed. And then also the People's Agenda will be providing rides because 40% of the population doesn't have transportation in Macon. So to say that everybody can get where they need to be, no, no. We want to welcome my sister Nita. We want to welcome Shirley Lester. Patrick, of course, is here. Chevis Perry, welcome. I think I've called everybody, and I do want to recognize you and thank you. Um, Mr. Consinari, thank you so very much for joining us. And we're going to continue to spotlight candidates, and we're glad that you chose to come on Ask Elaine and inform the people. So you have
Abs-
a great, great day.
Absolutely. If I may say one final thing,
Yes,
I
yes.
apologize. I'm a certified yapper.
We all know.
Please, please, please learn more about my campaign. You can visit aj4ga.org. That's AJ, the number 4ga.org. And for myself and for the two other candidates that are here today, In the words of the wise Quentin T. Howell, coal runs trains, but gold runs campaigns. Please, in order for us to get to the places that we need to go and we need to share our messages, please donate to our campaigns so that way you can see the change happen in your community. I'm Adrian Constanary, Jr., candidate for Georgia Secretary of State. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate you. Put your information in the chat for us.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
everybody can then go to the chat and get that information. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right. Our two other candidates are local candidates. One is running for House District 142, Mr. George Thomas. So welcome to Ask Elaine.
All right.
We're going to let you do an opening statement, I'm sure. Tell people again a little bit about yourself to remind them of who you are, and then also tell us why they should vote for you in District 142. You might want to include what areas comprise District 142.
Right. All right.
Okay.
I'm George Thomas, and I'm a Democrat running for Georgia House District 142. So that goes as far west as Lake Wildwood and comes in Zebulon Road down Forsyth Road to all of Bellevue, Unionville, the Pierce Avenue area, Ingleside, Amerson River Park, Wimbush, Tom Hills in it, and then it crosses the river. Northeast High School is in there. Shirley Hills and North Highlands, that Baconsfield area is what it consists of. A little bit about me. I'm born and raised in Macon. I'm graduated from Westside High School. Went on to Savannah State and got my bachelor's in political science. And also when I came back home, worked at River Edge for a while, stayed at the house, saved up money while I was saving in the house, and then realized that, they don't really pay people with a bachelor's in political science too much. So I worked full time and went to school full time at Valdosta State online and got my master's in public administration. So all that to say, I'm a husband and a father. But when it comes to what I do professionally, I work in Newtown. I'm the director of leasing there. So all the rental property I manage. So it's a lot that professionally. Civically, I'm the chair of the East Block Oversight Committee. Mr. Talley has asked me some questions about some things, and I get the answers back to him. I tell him, hey, the help is on the way. It's on the lineup. Also, I serve with Mrs. Lucas on the Central Georgia Joint Development Authority, which is 11 county board, consists of 44 members. Also, I'm on 100 Black Men for Macon Middle, Georgia, and I serve as the College and Career Fest chair there. And since I've been chairing it, over 60 kids have been accepted to college on the spot, and I'm proud to say that. Expanded opportunities for children and students that I didn't have coming up. But I'm also running for Georgia House 142, and I believe that it's time for new leadership in District 142. Leadership that shows up, leadership that listens, and leadership that gets results. And that's what I've done in my 34 years of life. I've got results and continue to get them. So some things I would like to do. We have problems in our area, right? So everybody's feeling the affordability problem. We got a healthcare problems. We got, people concerned about your schools, because schools directly link to employment, right? Because employers come in, they look at what the school system like to see if they can match up their workforce to the area that's coming, right? And then a general consensus around, and I've knocked on about 1,000 doors now, and the consensus is public safety. So that's another big issue. So healthcare, Georgia is one of 10 states that has not expanded healthcare. So we do so, 500,000 people will have health insurance, right? It's something we already paying into. It's just really partisan politics. The reason that we have not expanded it. It got close last year in session. So that's one of my focuses. Affordability. We need to lower costs for our families. So I would be an advocate for expanding the Georgia Dream Act, which is the first time home buyer program that's available now. But right now it's capped out at $12,000. But when you have the median home cost in Georgia at $380,000, we need to meet that 3.5% down payment assistance and help out with some of the closing costs, because buying a home is expensive. and it's compounds on compounds, and then it's a stressful process. But we need to make that easier and more attainable for our residents in Georgia. Expanding our energy grid. You got data centers been incentivized to come, right? So they're gonna come. And it's, but we have to be prepared for that by expanding our energy grid, and we can do that by investing in wind and solar, which are our cheapest methods of energy. A lot cheaper than coal. You see, gas prices are skyrocketing right now, so that's becoming not so much a dependable thing to do. Also, when it comes to our schools, that's right on Front Street right now, because you got school closures are coming up, and that's really been statewide, as everybody's been having a lot, and it's affecting more the inner city. And it's a thing, and you get this way because the state keeps pushing cost on local school districts that they did not have to pay before, like the teacher retirement system cost. 15 years ago, the state mandated you pay 9% for each employee. Now, local school districts have to pay 20%. So that's over double. State benefit health plan, they have to pay those increased costs, mandated to pay those. They cannot shop and do other things like other businesses can do. They have to pay that. So that's another increased cost. You look at our QBE formula, it hasn't been updated since 1985. And one of the factors, we're one of 6 states that doesn't factor this in. Student poverty is not factored into that QBE formula. And so when you talk about a high poverty area like Macon, like in Augusta and similar cities like that, that they're feeling that budget crunch, that's some things that need to be addressed for that can add that funding to help take over, help subsidize what the local governments are paying. Like if you look at a smaller school district like Twiz County, all of those schools are funded straight off the local. They don't get any, if not any, state funding because they fall under that threshold of $450, not 450 students for elementary school, and for the high schools, I believe that number is 850 or 900, and so they're all below that. So that comes right out of the local budgets. So we get, it's one of those things that we just have to have that type of advocate up there for us in the state house to relay this type of stuff. And one thing that I have total control over that we can do that I can do myself is transparency. And so that, with that being said, I would commit to, when we're in session, January to April, weekly updates on what's going on in session, what's happening, what's a good bill, what's a bad bill. Call your representative, tell them you support this and that. And I would commit to a monthly newsletter, whether that's Facebook, sending out email blasts, that type of thing, to keep the connection with your constituents. This weekend, I knocked on about 90% of Unionville's doors. Me, myself, 2 feet, miles and miles. And those constituents have never seen their representative at their front door. And that's the best way to meet somebody, right? If I can come to your front door, that's a great introduction, and that lets you know the work that I'm committed to do if I'm going door to door.
Okay, that's wonderful. We have a question from Asia Ellen. You can see it in the chat. 41 WMGT recently posted that Macon Bibb has one of the highest foreclosure rates in the nation. If elected, what, if anything, can you do as a state representative to help lower Macon's high foreclosure rates?
So on the state level, when it comes to that, so you could advocate for more late payment assistance, right? So if it's you have a pot now, and normally it's not focused on mortgages, because when you talk about foreclosure, you talk about owning a home, because you have like EOC and some of the late payment assistance for rental. But that can be a program that can be put in place, because it's Macon's affected and other communities throughout the state. So it's becoming an issue. It needs to be, that goes back to talking with your community and seeing what the problems that they're facing and to address that issue.
Okay, thank you. We want to welcome Rhonda Bird, and we've already welcomed Tony Fair, but it's good to have all of you on here. And we want to thank Mr. George Thomas for agreeing to come on. We'll let you sit in on the remainder of the program as we shift to the. Now that's the state. That's the state house, State Representative District 142. The other one is an election. That one will be voted on just by the folks who live in District 142. So check your voter registration card and see if you're in District 142.
And get the Democratic ballot.
And get a Democratic ballot. And also you'll receive the nonpartisan races as well. All right. Mr. Consineri is running statewide for Secretary of State. So everybody who's registered in the state of Georgia can vote in that race. In this one, 142, it's only those folks who live in District 142. And you heard the outline of where the 142 is. So y'all check it out, and just wanted to make sure every opportunity to remind people that some races are statewide. Everybody can vote in them. Some are within a district. And speaking of a district, the water board has districts, probably not as many as we should have. So our candidate for the water board, District 2, is Mr. Marshall Talley. Welcome to Ask Elaine. Go ahead and tell everybody about yourself and why they should vote for you for Water Board Commissioner District 2.
Yes, ma'am. So first of all, thank you for the opportunity to be here again. Always a pleasure. My name is Marshall Talley. I am from East Macon, born and raised, a product of New Fellowship Baptist Church. My earliest remembrance of serving the community was in '94. My mom had me with the church at Roses during the flood. We gave out, we filled a lot of gallon jugs and gave out a lot of water. So that was my earliest remembrance of me serving the community. In my professional career, hospitality of plus 20 years. I'm also the program director for the Mentors Project, where we serve our youth of Bibb County in the school system. Why I'm running is pretty simple. Me as a public servant, I want to be able to do more, to be in a position to do more when it comes to MWA. As far as a service provider to our community, I believe they're in a position to do more. I plan to go down there with intentionality. It's very simple. I want to protect the customer. I want to help our households. And I also want to prepare our next generation with opportunities.
All right. All right. What do you see as the problems that you're going to the water board to help to solve? What are the basic issues that you see that are troubling as far as the water authority?
Okay. So first I want to protect what works and I want to fix what hurts. We have a big stormwater infrastructure problem. We have a lot of money that's been allotted to fix our problems. So I really want to go in and get an assessment of where the problems are, make sure that the problems in District 2 are being handled as far as top priority. We don't want to let that money run out, go out North Macon and all the places that don't serve our people that's struggling with poverty. We don't want them left behind. We want to make sure that we get those problems fixed first. As far as the Macon Water Alliance, I want to reimagine how we look at that organization being a nonprofit that sits on the side of MWA. As far as bill assistance, leak repairs, protection with our lateral lines, even expanding education into our community through STEM programming and different things like that. I believe we could really put a lot of focus in the Macon Water Alliance to better serve our community.
Okay. If anybody has a question, we would love for you to place it in the chat. Patrick has added. George, did you add your information?
I just put it in there.
George, okay. And Marshall, if you will add yours as well, then everybody will have a resource for making contact if you think of something else. What do you think of the size of the water board districts right now? I represent District 1, and my district has almost 30,000 folks.
Yeah, so I think
What do you think about the size? Because Senator Lucas introduced legislation to create more, to cut the Macon-Bibb County up into more districts that would be smaller. And things have changed over the years. When it was first put in place, that might have been okay because you didn't have a lot of water issues. Now, with all of the things that are coming on the horizon, water board members, Senator Lucas thought that cutting down the size would create more visibility of water board members, more accountability of water board members. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think we do need smaller districts. My district, I think we're between 25, 28,
27.
yeah, 25. Well, I want to say 28, but 27,000 people. Like our commissioners, it'll help us better serve the constituents. Like we say, we have a lot of problems with stormwater issues, and that's things that have to be addressed. I mean, that's going to be money that needs to be spent, and so that money has to come from somewhere. And so we need to be very intentional about protecting our ratepayers when making those decisions at the board.
That's right. There are two questions for you. What are your thoughts about extending access to sewer to the county and areas such as Lizella?
Yeah, so I like it. A lot of people don't know MWA serves outside of Macon-Bibb. We have some Jones County customers. We have some customers in Forsyth, and we also have some customers in Byron.
Right.
Long term, I support a regional MWA system. I don't know what it would take to get to that point, but long term, yeah, I do support expansion.
Okay. The other question is, should the water board meet twice a month instead of once a month? What are the perceived pros and cons?
Yeah, so the more you meet, the more you're able to get done. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. Once a month meetings, I mean, it take a lot to get done. You know, you might have a quorum, might not have a quorum, table. You know, it could be a long drawn out process. So me personally, I like to meet more.
All right. If there are any other questions, Asia has a question. Do you think one or both of the appointed county commissioner seats should be removed from the MWA board? I certainly do. I certainly do. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. So I think we should have more district seats. Now, one representative, I don't mind because we do have that intergovernmental agreement with stormwater. So it has to be some kind of communication meeting wise in that lane. But I do think that we should decrease county commissioners and expand our districts.
Right, because I just don't see what the purpose of having two.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like a double vote.
It is. Yeah. They vote over on the county, and then they come over to the water board and vote again. And they're Republicans, and their votes reflect the thinking of Republicans when they vote to put all of the responsibility for the financing of the entity on the ratepayers, when we've got a 27 to 40% poverty rate, depending on where you live. You know, 27% in some neighborhoods, 40%. And then there are others who think it is our responsibility as elected officials to look out for the people who are paying the majority of the bill. And we have some things that are some real questions that need to be resolved as far as leadership and access and all of that on the water board.
And then
go ahead.
But I did want to go on record that I am against data centers and other large water users that want to come into the community. Not really showing data on how they could support us long distance over a long-term period of time. I think big companies like that should pay their way. We don't want the burden falling on our ratepayers.
Well,
and our
there is a
infrastructure.
nationwide trend.
Mhm.
A lot of communities that are struggling to have some money to operate off of
They're gonna fold.
have been swamped with requests for these big spec
Mhm.
buildings that they've
Right.
had, or maybe an industry was there and they left or whatever. Government is coming in paying 2, 3, 4 times as much as they are worth. And their intent is, first of all, either put a prison there,
Mhm.
or companies are buying up these big buildings to put data centers in there. And data centers have been shown to suck up all the electricity. They
Mhm.
suck up your water. And a little town social circle in Georgia, 100 miles outside of
Mhm.
Atlanta, there was a building that was bought, and it was bought without the knowledge of the leadership in the community. And all of a sudden, they realized we've got to provide water
Mhm.
to this big old, well, I don't know how many square feet, but
Was
it's
that the
huge.
the ICE detention center?
Well, that was that one, but they had a problem with the water,
Okay.
with providing water and sewage
Mhm.
um, um, services to this. I believe it was going to be the one where they were going to put 10,000 prisoners,
Yeah.
Immigrants in that building. But the same thing is happening, or a similar thing is happening with data centers. And we've had people questioning all around us in
Yeah.
other counties about locating data centers. Jones County is on top of it. They've been fighting every step of the way. Let's see, we have another question for George. Would you support a moratorium for data centers?
Yes, I would. And I would also propose that same tax incentive that they're giving those data centers, we should give those same tax incentives to expanding our solar and wind production.
Amen. Amen. Yes.
So I would like to add on the topic of economic opportunity. Through the Making of Water Lines, and I had spoke with Dr. Washington, the CTAE is executive from the Bibb County School
Right.
System this morning. But having strengthening the partnership between Bibb County Schools and Central Georgia Tech, and offering a pipeline from school to MWA careers, I think that'll be good for our community. And then also being water that the water that we have being a good product, we're able to expand our workforce and also be able to recruit industry coming here because we're producing students that'll be able to work those jobs.
Well, sounds good to me. And good luck. Yeah, I mean,
I think it's important
Go ahead.
to put on because another thing with the water authority specifically, that there was a great the Javis Lucas Lake, that facility, the water facility.
Sure.
I mean, that's over 20 years old now.
Mhm.
So I mean, it was state of the
Way
art
before our time.
right? Yeah, so it was, after the flood, it was state of the art, but now it's kind of, I'm sure that's having age and
Yeah.
breakdowns and stuff like
Yeah.
that now too.
Well, you're right. And that has been my concern during the time I've served, the year that I've served on the Water Authority, that are we modernizing? Are we getting training that teaches us what the important issues are? And people don't seem to want to do that. That's why I think that there's a need for a change on the Water Authority. There's a need for more districts. And so y'all follow this page right here. Follow this site right here for more information. I hear the music, y'all. Thank you so very much for tuning in today. We just love having you there. Watching Ask Elaine. If you have further questions and you're on here where you can participate in the chat, please list your question, and these candidates, I'm sure, will be glad to respond to your questions. Their contact information is on here as well, so be sure to make contact with them when you're trying to make your choices for these positions. House District 142 and Water Board, Macon Water Authority District 2. Next week, we'll have some more candidates for you to get some more information. But in the meantime, check in with us, get your sample ballot, and please go and vote early. You'll have it done, over with. Yes.
Mr.
Very
Horn,
quickly, because
Mr.
we're right on.
Yeah, Mr. Horn, I see you. I do have a lateral line protection plan that's on my website. You can review marshalltally.com.
All righty then. Looks like we've got some really good candidates for these offices, y'all. So thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you again next Wednesday, 3 p.m. for another edition of Ask Elaine.
Break.